Hey Leo, welcome to your December 2019 reading. This month I am just pulling from this little mini deck that I got at Barnes & Noble. It's a traveling tarot deck. I'm going to be a traveling tarot reader in 2020. And no fancy oracle cards, no gimmicks, no tricks this month. Just keeping it simple. It's December. Let's just kind of wrap this shit up, you know? Plus I'm doing your year ahead spread readings, so check those out. And I'm just going to pull from the top because I kind of already started your reading, and then I had to stop, but I was kind of getting the story of what was going on with you, and it was interesting, and I just want to tell you about it, you know? See if it resonates. What else we got? Okay. Yes. Got it. Okay, I'll take this too. So, here we go. We got the Fool in reverse. We got the Page of Swords. We got the Ace of Cups. We have the Hermit. This originally came in for you reversed, but I'm giving it to you upright, because we'll talk about that more with the Four of Swords. Moving into Temperance reverse. And we got the Ten of Cups in reverse. We got Death. Big energy that I want to talk about right here. We got the Four of Rods in reverse. And I'm giving you the Queen of Rods upright. So first, Leo, I feel like we need to talk about death. Death is, of course, a transformative energy. People are always like, oh, don't be afraid of death, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not literal death, and it's not. So, there's that. But, like, I think that death is really a lot more profound than, like, we want to admit, or, like, there's a reason why, as a culture, we're so afraid of it. To me, death is a lot like a Pokemon leveling up. You know, like, Eevee becoming, is it Vaporeon, or the Psychic one, or whatever, you know how Eevee, like, turns into all those different elements? It's like, I mean, you get what I'm saying, but it's like, that Eevee no longer exists. Its essence is there, like, the Eevee was the seed for the new evolution of what it's become, but also, like, it's kind of like a kid growing up. You know, like, we're always going through little deaths throughout our lives, but it's kind of like seeing your 20-year-old little sister and then remembering when she was, like, a 3-year-old that you, like, could hold in your arms. That's kind of what I mean by death. It's like, the 3-year-old exists, like, within her, but also, like, those times are gone, the dynamic is gone, her thoughts are gone, like, so, I'm kind of, like, rambling and being weird about death, but death can be gradual like that, where it's kind of just these slow, bubbling changes over a long period of time, where the transformation is so subtle that we don't even know that it's happening, but it can also be very sudden, drastic, very, like, night and day, very, extreme. And so, the reason I'm talking about this so much, sorry, I almost called you Capricorn, Leo, it's like, yeah, I think that just, especially, like, with the decade ending, I mean, the decade is ending, right? I think this is you really stepping out of a person you've been your whole life into, in 2020, this reborn version of you. So this might be a process that takes time. It's not like, you know, lightning per se, but it is maybe like a slow, like, ebb out of a thing, because we have, like, the Ten of Cups in reverse. I feel like everywhere, this feels like such, because, like, okay, we got the Fool in reverse, so it's like you are moving towards this brand new beginning. So another way I honestly might put this is, like, fame. like, if you become famous, the private self is dead in some regard. Like, you will never have the kind of privacy you used to. You'll never have the kind of, like, freedom to fuck up that you used to. You'll have, like, a responsibility. I'm not saying per se that you're going to be famous, although maybe, but that's really, this is, like, the crux of the December energy, because that's what I'm saying. Like, the Fool, whatever new thing you're moving into, it's so unknown, it's so freaky, it's so, like, good and empowering, but it's also just very unfamiliar territory. And I think that there is a little bit of, this could also honestly be falling in love. There's so many ways this can be playing out for you, Leo. But even in love, then, like, you're letting go of, like, maybe you had, like, a plan for how your life was gonna go. You were like, okay, I'm gonna go get this job and do this by this age. And then this other person you meet, you're, like, suddenly, like, rewiring, like, all your thoughts about what the plans were. And I think it's just a little unsettling to, like, adapt to this new self that you're becoming. It's all very positive, but it's just, like, I think hard to really, it's such high emotions, you know? So it's like, even though they're, like, really high joys maybe that you're feeling, those high joys are also bringing, like, great anxiety, because you're just out of your element, is really what I'm feeling for you. Plus we got this Ace of Cups, so it's kind of like you're overflowing, and it's kind of like your, like, heart opening up, especially, right? Or what if we were talking about fame, like, the success and, like, the validation and the people appreciating you and, like, coming up to you and being like, I love what you do, is, like, also fun. So it's, like, good energy. It's, or if you were, like, sick and dying for a long time, and, like, then you are reborn to, like, an, you know what I mean? It's like there's kind of a relief along with this, but because you're moving into such a brand new self that you've never been before, or because this cycle that was going on for so long is finally, like, reaching its, like, crux of, like, things are going to be different from now on, however that's playing out. Really important to go inward, to chill, to process, to really know yourself and know what you want and know what your voice is, because there might indeed be, like, other voices contributing or having opinions about what's going on with you, because it is such a big change. Your big change will be rippling out and changing everyone else you meet. So they're going to have their own agenda, even unconsciously, for what's going on with you. So really the Hermit is just having that stillness, especially, like, Four of Swords. Both of these cards really talk about, like, the importance of, like, meditation and going inward and, like, allowing yourself to know you first and foremost, so that you'll have a clarity. With this Page of Swords, this really feels like you kind of cultivating your own inner truth, your own ability to kind of, like, ultimately put yourself first. But you are able to get that through, you know, taking a time out and making that space for yourself to do it. Making this a priority. Because, like, to really honor, like, my rest and my not forcing new movement, and my being still with the process that is happening, and my, like, digesting my big change or my recovery from the big change that has occurred, is super important and integral towards you ultimately making that transition. So in talking about literal death, it's kind of like, if you've listened to the Tibetan Book of the Dead, they have this whole process about how to, like, help the soul move from one realm to the other. It's, like, kind of this delicate, very conscious process. And I'm not saying you're literally dying, but I do feel like it's the end of the decade into the new decade is really brand new self. Death could also be giving birth, quite frankly. It could be becoming a mom. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of thing. Like, you were single and not responsible for anyone else, and then all of a sudden you have this other life in your hands that depends on you. You have a new role, you have a new identity. So I'm just saying, however this is playing out, it feels very big. So temperance is very important for that integration, but with it in reverse, I feel like it's just a little bit more of what I'm talking about, with like maybe other people having their opinions about how you do things or how you become this new self. Because again, it might be impacting them, even unconsciously, even if they're like saying that they're helping you. I feel like sometimes that help is their agenda for you, as opposed to you being able to make your own choices. And it can be small, subtle things. So I feel like the temperance is just talking about like the difficulty of kind of like the seamless flow, and again, between one self and the other self. And again, very important to really honor yourself above literally any other players in the story, and to enjoy this sense of like love and abundance that might be coming up as a part of it. Like, to really not be too afraid of like the positive, happy aspects of this, because it can be exhilarating, it can be fun. So definitely not saying not to enjoy what is happening for you, but since it is such a big beginning, this is really about you learning how to build your own stability. With the Four of Rods in reverse, it doesn't feel like the stability isn't there for you. It just feels like, again, you're learning how to lay those bricks by trusting your own creative guidance, trusting your own power, knowing that this is all for you, really. Kind of like when Simba steps up to the throne in The Lion King. It's kind of like that. That's what I like to tell Leos. I like to quote the Lion King to Leos, because you're a lion. So, you know, it's like your movie. Anyway, very much about you kind of becoming royalty in a way. But, or if you've seen The King's Speech, it's kind of like that. But then it's like all these people are like telling him how to be and what to do. So the Four of Wands, I think, is like before you lay your foundation. Again, it's about just taking and honoring that process of finding your own clarity, taking the time to really like hear yourself think, and to go inward to know what that is. And so you can ultimately integrate. And whatever fun and love and joy there is along the way, take that in too. Let it be part of the process of you making this big transformation. So that's my reading for you, Leo. I love you. I hope you have a very great December. You have a big 2020 coming up too, obviously. That's what this December is about. It's moving you to that 2020. So, yeah. Like and subscribe. Let me know if you like a personal reading, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.